Welcome back, everybody. You are watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel, and today I am moving forward with my hopeful rescue and wake up of the White Brand 568 model, early 1960s, in just lovely turquoise. And what I'm doing, I sometimes show different techniques for how I want to get a machine to move. Now, this machine, which has both straight and zigzag capability, along with the use of decorative stitch cams. It didn't come with it when I rescued it, but what you will see is in the top of this machine, I've taken the lid off, and when you have your machine, it will look something like that. And you will see two bolts, and this particular one has a piece of plastic, and I think these plastic rings are sort of like washers, and they are there to protect the paint. You may have yours missing. If it is, then it's okay. I suppose you could make one if you wanted, but it's there just to, I think, to protect the paint, maybe to reduce vibration, who knows. But anyway, I'm going to take the lid off because I have vacuumed the machine. I have vacuumed it up top and down below. And today, I've shown using everything from penetrant oils to heat at times. Now this machine, not surprisingly, it does have up and down motion. That doesn't mean it's ready to stitch a lovely straight stitch yet, but at least it moves. That's good. And however, the knob that you see, or you will see, okay, right here, this is the needle position knob. Right now it's on center. It can move either to the left or to the right, and it does not want to move much at all. It's very stiff, and the control lever, which you cannot see, but it's right here, you can see when I go to move this, yeah, there's some movement, but again, I might get it to move, but again, in keeping with my philosophy of gently waking up something that's been asleep for a long time, I'm going to try demonstrate one of my other methods. I have a number of methods that I can use. Sometimes just plain old sewing machine oil, but instead of using a penetrant, I decided to try or to show the use of this valve oil. Now, I've shown this before. The valve oil is something I found. I think I've shown it in my materials or tools videos. Valve oil is not sewing machine oil. Okay, it's much thinner. In fact, it's thinner than the thinnest sewing machine oil I've ever found. This is similar, but it has a solvent of some kind, and it is used or sold in music stores to be used in the valves for, I believe, wind instruments, like brass horns, for example. So what is the advantage of this? It's an oil, yes, but it's very thin, and I believe it has a solvent content to it. So I'm going to see how it does, and I'm going to be putting it over different spots. Any place that I can see that might have an area that's going to move, and I'm just barely, you can see this area here, so we know that that moves, right? And then I have a piece below that moves. Now, keep in mind, you're really going to need to, when you do this, you're basically eyeballing, where. Let's see if I can get the flashlight. And while I'm here, notice that, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see exposed is the motor belt. I do not want any lubricants on the motor belt. And I'm just going to sneak in and get a drop there. These are basically areas where I will eventually be using sewing machine oil. But I wanted to go ahead and see, what I could get moving, because I noticed that this machine is stiffer than some. The fact that it's moving at all is nice because, again, it could have sat for a really long time. Now, I also have pieces that are connected to the dial. Now, the dial doesn't fight me. It seems to move a little bit, it is my stitch length knob. So I'm going to see if we can zoom in here a bit, see if that will show up for you. I'm going to, if you're never sure quite where the moving parts are, if you can get anything to move, like I'm getting this little subtle movement of this stitch length dial, you should be able to see parts moving below, and that's where I'm going to put my, like I say, I'm just putting a few drops in here. I'm not lubricating the machine. This is not sewing machine oil. Do not use this in place of sewing machine oil. Please don't do that. That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it because I'm hoping that the valve oil, one, because it's much thinner than sewing oil, and because of the solvent that is included in it, will help sort of loosen some of the, like this piece here. This is the cam follower, this big giant piece here, and it's quite stiff, but it's, you know, it's moving. But that is what I'm going to do with this, right? And I'm going to basically apply the valve oil in places, any place that I think I'm going to get movement. And this is, you know, I'm beginning up top. As you know, I always like to start at the top of the machine. I have vacuumed it, just looking to see if I've got any more dust or lint or filth. Remember, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to use penetrant oils or this valve oil or any kind of oil until you have vacuumed your machine, because you're just asking for complications you didn't really need. So again, we'll shift the camera a little bit here and I'll show you. I'll just put, again, I got movement here, but again, these are areas, especially when we get down below. I'm going to bring it up. This, where's my little pointer? Gotta have my pointer. All right. I've shown this on different machines before, but if you see my pointer where it's going, if I can get it there, this little area right here, right there, that is a horizontal shaft that the needle bar moves on when it's going from side to side. Okay, now it could be that it's working fine, but again, Zigzag is stiff, and that's pretty normal. If you have a machine and you're lucky enough to have one that's allowing you to have the needle move up and down, that's great. But as I've mentioned many times, Zigzag is often the first thing to go, or your decorative stitches. It's just one of those things that it will typically, if it doesn't freeze up, it will gum up and make things move very slowly initially. So again, we definitely want to, by the way, on this particular model, there are a lot of white models from this period that have this really nice way of controlling the zigzag stitch. And you do it with these rollers. They're made of steel. They're very, very, very hefty. You can see the lever wiggling as I move it. And I can, this knob here is basically, when you turn these, let me actually show you a better view of this. So when I want my zigzag to move, right, it's spring loaded, okay, when it's working properly. You can see the spring is nice and healthy. We don't want to break that, but the machine is still sleepy. All right, we don't want to wake it up. What you do is, whenever you find whatever your zigzag is going to be, then you will, and I'll show this again when I show off the machine, you close in the two knobs and it basically locks in your stitch, because otherwise the spring is going to cause it to be able to move on its own, and you don't want that. You see this a lot with 1960s machines that have zigzag. Neki had a certain way of doing it, and the Japanese had something similar. All of these methods are somewhat similar. So now I think I've done about as much as I'm going to do on both the side and the top. So what's next? What's next is I've got my I went ahead and added some of this valve oil to that horizontal bar, the one that my zigzag is hopefully going to be able to move on. So we'll close this door back, Let's move our lovely top. It has nice paint. I want to keep it that way. And I have a rolled up towel. Remember that when you have any machine that you're going to tilt back, you really want to be able to brace it without harming the machine or yourself, because it is very heavy, bowling ball heavy. So I'm going to let's lower our camera view here, and I'll show you the areas below. Now, when a machine is sleepy like this, it's stiff, it doesn't want to move. Remember, do not plug it in and try to overpower it. You can say, well, it has a 1.3 amp motor and we're just gonna power through. Don't do that. You take the risk of damaging the machine, and when you wake up in the morning, do you want someone pushing you and dragging you? No. So be kind to your machine. You really should. And these things have been, this one has been asleep, I'm willing to bet, at least 20 years, if not more. So a lot of these areas I will be visiting once again, because a lot of these are the same areas, like I say, that we would lubricate the machine. But I wanted to have this valve oil because the valve oil is going to hopefully wick in between these places on the machine. And hopefully it will loosen things up a bit, right? We've got old sewing oil that's been sitting because the machine has not moved. This bar, by the way, this piece is going to slide back and forth. So let's go ahead and get it. I like this product because it doesn't have to be this brand, but it basically, La Tromba, T2 is the brand. Basically what it's doing is it's going to be able to be drawn up into these various parts of the machine, where normal sewing machine oil, when your machine is operating, that normal sewing machine oil is actually a better lubricant because it's not this thin. You don't want something this thin as a lubricant. And I'll have to go to the music store and get more. Anyway, I'm just going to touch these little areas. Be careful. Don't try to apply too much of this stuff. It's very thin, and it's going to start. You don't want it to fall in and stain your machine tray, right? You want to keep this liquid on the machine, right? It's not really going to hurt this, but you don't need an unnecessary mess, I guess is what I'm hoping to convey here. Okay, so I'm going to reach over and I'm going to turn, and when I do, this is also a helpful way to remember, oh, what parts of the machine are moving that might need some help. Now things are moving. We're not plugging it in. We're not going to start sewing. We really want to, and like I say, this valve oil is going to, it's very drippy because it's thin, but that's also what helps it penetrate. So now that I've gotten quite a few areas, maybe a few, most of the areas that I can think of I've gotten to. So, and now this is just before dinner time. You could do this early in the day on a weekend day, and then it's going to sit. I'm going to let this sit. Remember, some things take time. Your patience can be rewarded. If you get in a hurry, you may make things harder on yourself. So try not to do that. All right, gonna have to get more valve oil. I like it. It has a little bit of odor, but not, to my senses, not bad. But you should always check anything out because we all vary in how sensitive we are to any kind of chemical or solution. So there we are. This machine, hopefully, and again, I'm gonna hold it here because it's really heavy. Oh, and the white Model 568. We are about to see. I'll check this tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon, and I will see. Will my needle position lever, will it move? Will it be happier, or will it? Oh, it actually, see, it just started to move a little bit of wiggle, just a hair. It's not ready yet, though, right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We want to gently get it moving. Once the machine has woken up and you start using it, and you use, sewing machine oil, you should be fine, right? The machines are not extremely maintenance intensive. I sometimes think that when people watch my videos, they think, oh my God, I've got to do all this to this machine. This machine has not done anything for at least 2 decades. Machines are at their best when they're used regularly. You don't have to use it every day, but you want to give it a workout, right? To keep it healthy. And when you do that, they are basically easier to maintain. But again, I got this from someone who, I don't know, either they didn't want it, or somebody gave it to them. They plugged it in and it obviously wouldn't work, and they don't know, I don't want this thing. Who knows what's wrong with it? But if you take time to learn your machine and watch videos like this, you can learn how to take care of it, because prior generations did. There were times when people had to take sewing machines into a service center. Yes, they existed. Sometimes the service center was attached to the dealership itself. Other times it wasn't. But again, there were people you would take your machine to, usually just to clean and oil it. Occasionally, when a problem happened with a sewing machine, back when this machine was new, it was often a user error thing. I'm not saying that issues couldn't happen, that there were not mechanical breakdowns. But based on what I have seen these machines do after sitting for decades, they were not easy to break. I'm sure someone managed to be able to do that, but you could sew and sew and sew with these for years. And as long as you kept the lint clean and you kept them oiled, there wasn't a whole lot you had to worry about, unless usually something got set wrong and the owner didn't know what it was, and they might take it in and it's like, hey, my machine's not working, and they would often just have to show them. Or maybe they had sewn when their kids were little, and then they got away and the machine sat, and then they came back to it when sewing, they were interested in sewing again, who knows. But if you look on here, you will see that the White Company, they really thought they had something here. They had, if you read this, got a little bit of light left today, guys. Look at this. It says this machine is equipped with lint cleaner, anti-binding device. So I'm going to make a video in the future on what the heck is that? Does that mean your machine didn't create lint? No. All sewing machines, even the new ones today, they make lint. But according to White, they had a special thing that would help control lint buildup. I don't know. We're about to find out. And so stay tuned for a future video on that. And with that, I am going to take my White 568, which has been sleeping for 2 decades now or so, and I am going to give it, hopefully this valve oil is an elixir of youth. There you go. And we're going to hopefully get it to awaken. I'll check with it tomorrow, and if it's not ready, we'll give it another day or so. Like I say, if you take time, go slowly and methodically, these machines can be so forgiving, and this is one of those models that is particularly forgiving when you go to wake it up. And other than the fact that it has this fun 50s, 60s color, it's one of the reasons I like working on these, along with a number of other models that you've seen on this channel. When you see a model show up often, it's because I really enjoy restoring them. I think they make great machines, and I say that as someone who's not even a sewer. My clients will tell you more about what they love about certain machines and how they sew. But again, when you see a machine show up on this channel many times, there are more of them, yes. But if I have a choice between this and maybe another machine model that is from the same era, this is one of, not the only, but this is one of those machines that I will look at first. It doesn't matter if it's turquoise or beige or gold or whatever color that White happened to be pushing at the time. These are great machines, and anyone who has ever sewn with one will talk to you about the power of White brand sewing machines And those from the 1950s and 60s, particularly the 60s for this company when they went to Japan, the quality was just amazing. And any of you have model like this, put your comments down there below and let me know what you think of that machine. Do you like it? Does it create problems for you? What are your opinions, particularly for those of you who use these? Because I don't really sew. Not much. Anyway, thank you all for watching and watching me use this wonderful product that I think is wonderful, that I've enjoyed using. Is it a guarantee? Does it always work? No, nothing ever works all the time. But it is yet another tool in the arsenal of getting the old Ironsides to wake up and hopefully sew once again. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next time.